what's up everybody? Wanted to do a video showing all the comics I have ever done so far. So we're gonna get into that. I'll start off with just some recent kind of little things I've done. Then we'll get into the history of Marsh Makes Comics, Marshall Lee's comics. So first I'll show is this one, that doodle game. And this is just one of the most recent comics I've done, but it took me a long time. Pretty sure I did a video about it, of how it took me, or I was planning on doing a video. I don't even remember if I did a video or not on it. But I was planning on doing this for years, and then I started it, and then life happened, and then I got back to it finally and finished it. And this is what I call a doodle comic. So I thought it was just a fun little thing, and I created this character, Doodle Dave, in it, and I guess I kind of created other characters, but thought this was a fun thing. So maybe one day this will be published in something. But for now, here it is. Well, it is published on my website, actually, donkeyjawprojects.com. So yeah. And then I'll share some mini comics. This was actually the first mini comic. This is the actual drawing, original mini comic, Rabid Rabbit. This is the first not mini comic I did, but it's one of the first two. I mean, these are the two first mini comics I did, and I did them at the same time for the mini comics dump truck. Both of these came in the package for everybody who was doing the trade. So so I wanted to do one of these little folded mini comics. So, and these are the first ones that I've finished. I mean, I've dabbled in all right, here we go. I dabbled in trying to make comics for a long time, and then I found out about mini comics, and then through the Art and Story podcast and other podcasts that were going on at the time, which basically was YouTube. What YouTube has become, I feel like podcasts are what was going on for comics. There was a decent amount of cool podcasts out there. Art and Story. There was a bunch by Javier Hernandez and Ted Secco, and there was so many. Illustration Party Time with Kevin Cross and Joshua Kimball. So yeah, cool stuff. And so Kevin Cross ended up kind of joining the Art and Story, which was probably one of the best ones. I mean, they were all really good. But that one was really well produced. Jersey Droz, Mark Rudolph, and Kevin Cross. And it originally was just Jersey Droz and Mark Rudolph. Here's just another one. This was one I made for the 1 hour comic book challenge. I had 2 1-hour comic book challenge videos that I created on YouTube, and so that's why the art is interesting, not amazing. So yeah, I don't know, podcasts to me, I would just listen to them and get inspired, and finally I've wanted to make comics for my whole life, and finally I made my first full finished mini comic out of listening to those and being involved with the community and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's that. That was done in 1 hour, done and finished in 1 hour. This was this isn't exactly, I don't know if this is counted as a comic, but some of these things I'm going to count in, just because they're slightly notable book type things I've done. So this is the Poetic Ponderings of Farm Lizards, and it's a collage comic, I guess. And this was done for the trade with that D.D. Willingham's community does. So yeah, I wanted to play around with trade. And this is a comic, technically. I mean, I wanted to play around with collage, and, this is probably the best example of me, taking random elements and turning them into a comic, which I think is a cool, a fun technique to do. And it helps you to like just play around with the comic format and learn maybe some new techniques and stuff. So all this was done digitally, which, you know, that's cool. I like to do the physical kind of collages stuff too, but yeah, it's the poetic ponderings of farm lizards. I actually really like how that came out. This was the first 1 hour comic that I made, but I didn't complete it in an hour. Almost did, but somehow I missed the mark and learned my lesson and did it better on the second time around. But still, I like how it came out. It's a fun little story. Bam. Cool little micro mini comic. This one I just did for fun. Oh no, this one was done with Christopher Runtsman, kind of being inspired by his one-page comics that he does, like the daily one-page comics. He does them still on YouTube, I think. On you know, I haven't watched one of his videos recently, but it wasn't that long ago that I was watching his videos, so it was like, you know, a couple months maybe since I watched one, but I'll be probably going back to it. I love watching his videos and just hanging out and chatting, but definitely worth checking out. Very inspirational, because he does a comic every day. It's amazing. And so I decided to do a one-page comic, but I turned it into one of these little folded mini comics. And I did some gel plate techniques and, you know, inking and some color. I think the gel plate I just made, I just used a gel plate print that I already had made. So there we go. Rose on the grave. Bam. And these, I don't know that you could call them comics, but this was my attempt at like trying to do some of my attempts of like trying to do like abstract comics, like straight up abstract. There's words in there. There's kind of panels. I would say that these are not finished though, because I would like to, you know, put characters in there as well. So, but they're kind of fun. You know, there's texture and stuff. So I don't know. These are potential comics, but they are something I created thinking about comics and wondering what I could do abstractly, you know, with comics. So I still kind of want to go in and figure out a way to put some characters in there and stuff. And then I would call it an abstract comic, probably. So I should do that. Maybe I'll make a video of me filling some of these out with characters and talking about the ideas of mixed media and abstract stuff in comics, because I really love that. And I'm inspired by any and all possible techniques for comics. So yeah, there's that. This is just other prints of that. Quitting Time. This was another one for the D.D. Willingham community, the trades and stuff. So I did this one recently. I think, no, this isn't the original, because would be like all these textures and stuff on it. And this, I used prompts from D.D. D.D. put out like these prompts and stuff. So I did this all with prompts. There's a recent video, I think. Well, it's not recent, it's like last year, but there's a video showing I think the process of that and everything. So yeah. All right, so next we got, I'm going to go through like the anthology stuff I've done, and then we'll get to the earliest stuff I've done. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So, no, you know what? I'll just go through the history now, and then I'll get to the anthology type stuff. So, this is the first comic I ever made, Glyph and the Terror of Tusk. And yeah, that I finished, I should say. So you can read this online. It's on Webtoons. And I think it's on I'm pretty sure it's been on my website forever. I don't think I took it down. But this is like the original format. I did it like in this size. This is one of the original ones. And this one actually has like color in it as well. I wanted to kind of doing that Frank Miller thing where there's just like kind of one color in there. And I mentioned in a video recently that I kind of did a similar technique as what I saw in one of those comics, the Sistine Chapel Tackle. I'm ruining this for you if you haven't read it. Sorry, but yep, there we go. So yeah. Oh, at that time, my website was plexhop.com. That's old. That's interesting. And then I did a second one, Glyph and the Monster Munch Mystery. This isn't the best printing of it. You can see it's kind of like off-center and all that, but it is what it is. Apparently I printed these in 2019. So this was the second Glyph comic. Yeah, all the printing is all kind of off-center. That's what you get when you try to print at Staples. They don't do it right, and then you have to work with what you paid for. I mean, I could have like just redone it, but at that time I didn't have much money to do stuff like that, you know. So it is what it is. I think it's still readable and fine, you know. So there we go. Donkey Jaw Projects. And then this is the third installment of Glyph. Glyph Hiding in the Light. Same situation with the printing. These were printed at the same time. And I had fun doing these. Now this isn't like, one thing is like, when I was doing these Glyph comics, first of all, I was drawing smaller. You know, I would draw on smaller sheets of paper, not like the full comic size. You know, typical size that people draw for comics. And I wasn't trying to make the best comic ever made. I was just enjoying the process and trying to get it done. And I think I might, if I'm not mistaken, all three of these were made for like mini comic challenges. So every time I did a comic, I tried to add a little bit more and a little bit more of story so that I could kind of, you know, level up and learn. Glyph, step into my office. Big, never paid off cliffhanger. So, yeah. And then this one I really like. I did a video on this one. This one was actually, I think, me showing how to make a mini comic. Like, I did a video on how to make a mini comic, so you could check that out on my channel. But it's Terra and the Pterodactylus. Putting a little bit more effort into this one. First print, 7 of 20, 2019. I was pretty active in 2019, apparently. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Cool little story of this. I think she's like a princess and she wants to go somewhere, but nothing's good enough. And she finds out that home is the best place to be as she rides her pterodactylus. So there you go. Corncob Rob was never exactly published, but I think you can get it free on my website right now, if I'm not mistaken. And I did some prints of some of my comics in newsprint because I just wanted to test it out. So this is 1 of 1. And this is the only time that, well, I kind of printed it out on just copy paper one time too, but this is kind of the only time this comic has really been in print, and it came out really cool. I used this HP tankless, or what is it? Smart Tank. HP Smart Tank 7002. It's proven to be a pretty nice little printer. Some of the options, like I wish I could do some of the stuff I kind of have to do through the phone app, and I can't do like a typical stuff like just with the buttons on the actual unit, which is frustrating, but if you're okay with that, it's fine. But this is like a full length. This is my first time doing like a full length comic, like, 24. I think it's like 24 pages. Your typical comic book. I mean, this is far from typical. It's Black Panther #1, Jack Kirby, but but just that typical format. And I actually did this in a month. So again, this isn't me trying to do the best art I've ever done, but I created a full comic in a month, which was pretty cool, I think. And I don't remember if I think I created the characters in that month as well. It's not easy, that's for sure. But I could be wrong. I might have written it and created the characters first, and then in the month it took me a month to actually do the comic, and then I published it on my Patreon at the time. I never did do a great job at Patreon. I may do it again, but if I do, I really want to do a better job. It's weird. It's like, it's such a great opportunity for creative people. But it's not, it takes work to maintain it. But I love how this came out on the newsprint as well. Like, really cool. Corncob Rob and the Perilous Sky Ramp. Darby Cufflink. And again, I printed this on newsprint. Came out great, in my opinion. Marshall Lee, 2018, after Sam Keith. Sam Keith has one of his many famous Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine covers, and he's got all these like crazy like phone cord tassels from his outfit being shred to pieces by Cyber, I think the name of the guy was. So I did my version of this. This is the most detailed drawing in the book. But it was fun. I've always wanted to play with those textures and stuff that Sam Keith did. I'm a huge Sam Keith fan. If you haven't noticed, I did a couple videos on him. He's probably one of my favorite. And once again, this was also during the Patreon era. So I did this, I think, in a month. And so again, this is not me trying to be the best artist. He's reading Bloodstorm by Donkey Jaw Projects, which is a comic I'd like to make. It's an idea I have to kind of do the 90s, what I would have created in the 90s if it was me, like, at Image Comics or something. Like, I don't know, it's sort of like that. It's just like kind of a homage to the Image days. This is me trying a 9-panel grid for the first time. And I did a little bit of repetition in some of the imagery, but not all, but I kind of modified it. So I think like the backgrounds are repeated and then the characters are redrawn or something. So that was kind of a fun exercise. When you do comics, it's great to try out things you've never tried out, So again, I think this is on my website for free. And this was fun. Darby Cufflink, Gentleman Avenger of Comics. So this was another fun one. So there you go. There's that. And this was just me, like, I have this I may or may not do this like anthology of all the comics I've ever done, called Marshlands, and maybe turn that into like an anthology of just tons of comics from me, but I don't know, we'll see. But there is a cover that's drawn much better than this. This was not a good printing of this. And this was, again, just a test. But I printed the insides in newsprint, and this is Con Man, which is a romance comic I wrote. It was supposed to be for an anthology, but that didn't happen. And then I had Teresa Del Pilar draw it, and I have yet to finish it yet. I did obviously do the lettering, and her art is so good, and it like kind of begs color, or at least some kind of toning, and I was trying to color it and I just never finished it. So I don't know, I may like hire her to color it, or I don't know. And this isn't even the full comic. This is just like the first 4 pages. But oh, and I put the doodle game on the back. This was just a test print to try. So this is like, you know, a preview of what I'll print eventually at some point. So there's that. This video is going a bit long, but so now the anthologies. This was the Life in Space anthology put together by myself, Mike Emmerich, and Chris McQuinlan. And you can see it's got the Kevin Cross cover. This was the 100s Presents, the 100 Days of Making Comics. You know, we got approval from, obviously, from Kevin Cross to use the 100 days to create a couple anthologies. So that was cool. And, you know, a lot of people participated. It's a really cool book. Mike Emmerich did an amazing job at really putting it together. Like, he did the heavy lifting, you know. And Chris and I were definitely a big part of it, you know. But yeah, hats off to Mike for really here's his art. Amazing stuff, Julie Jupiter. And yeah, he did a really amazing job on both anthologies. And here is mine, Marshall Lee, DonkeyJawProjects.com, all that fun stuff. And this is The Hitchhiker, black and white. And this was a fun little, this was me trying to do like a Star Wars story of my own, if like some of the more like goofy characters were at the helm instead of like the more human characters. So yeah, pretty cool. A lot of panels in these. And this actually got printed wrong. Like, there's no lettering in this one, which kind of messes it up, to be honest, but it is what it is. Somehow I must have sent the files wrong or something. But I think you can still get the finished part of the story from it. So there we go. 100 Days of Making Comics, Life in Space anthology. This was the second anthology here, Werewolves and Unicorns, cover by Scott Serklin. And again, this was done with Kevin Cross's blessing. And so yeah, and again, this time Chris McQuinlan wasn't involved, and there was a different team, but I was involved to a lesser degree. And again, Mike really took the helm and was really did an amazing job making this happen. A lot of work was put into this, and again, hats off to Mike for that. And a lot of really cool. Oh, here's his Mike's work as well, which I love. I love everything he does with his art. It's amazing. And his storytelling and stuff. Gaz Gratzky. A lot of people were in this. Really cool. I mean, same with the first one too. I didn't. Again, this video is meant to showcase the stuff I've done. But where's the one I've done? I should have bookmarked it. I have a bookmark in here, and it's not. There was Peter Palmiotti. There's a lot of people. Scott Circlin. Where's mine? Let's see. He did such a great job. Oh, 94. Page 94. And yes, the pages are numbered, which I like. I'm a fan of that. Oh, the pages are numbered incorrectly, actually. Right? Yeah, because this is page 94, and that's not my comic. Oh, well. So here we go. Punch Out. It actually starts on page 96. And I really like how this one came out. Again, though, it's a fast production. But I liked the character designs, and still a little congested, that doesn't have a lot of room to breathe, I feel like, but I still like it. And it was just a little 4-page thing. Really cool. Had fun doing that. All right, the 9-volt Anthology. Now, when I had my forum, well, actually, yeah, we'll start with this and then we'll end with that last one. Okay. So when I had my forum, the AAA creators community, as we called ourselves, we made anthologies, and yeah, it was really cool. And so let's see. Mine is the first one on here. But Peter Seckler, he was at the helm of these, and that dude just never stops making comics, and he never stops helping other people make comics. He's a really awesome dude. So this was one of the last ones. I think there was more after this, but when after my hiatus, I came back, and this was the first comic I made after that. So another little 4-page comic. Yeah. So The Commute, just talking about like everyday life of an artist, but then put like this little fantastic situation in there as well. So yeah. So there's that. And then the 9-volt Pulp Anthology, which I'm pretty sure this one is, let's see. Pretty sure this one is the Jungle one, the Jungle Girl, yeah. Which, here, I'll show you. Let's get to it. Where is it? I think it's somewhere around here. Here we go. This is the best art I've ever done. No, just joking. I didn't do the art. Aaron Guzman did the art. So, but I did do this. He gave me the roughs for this cover, but I did the full drawing and inking. So I'm pretty proud of it, actually. It came out. This is more, at least closer to along the lines of where I'd like my skill level to be at in my actual comics. It's easier to do when somebody helps you, with the with the drawing for one, and then also when you have more time to just work on a cover. but he did the amazing art inside. I wrote it. It's actually a silent comic, but I wrote it, and I created the characters, designs, and everything. He tweaked the character designs a little bit, but it's Janaconda versus the Tiger King. And yeah, Marshall Lee presents, illustrator Aaron Guzman. And he did an amazing job on this. And I'm really proud of this work too. Like, this came out so cool. And I kind of want to do some more Janaconda comics. So, yeah. Really amazing. And what I learned too is it's really fun to be a writer and see somebody else kind of put your work, do a really great job on your work and stuff, and see it kind of come to life. The thing you had in your head come to life through the help of somebody else doing another vision. And Aaron Guzman also did this cover, and I think he did this cover as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that's cool too. So here is another one. Again, a lot of people involved in this anthology. And this was my first time like trying to do a straight up superhero character. Which is weird because I grew up and always wanted to do superhero comics, but for whatever reason, most of the comics I've actually made are not superhero comics. Expando by Marshall Lee. So there you go. It's weird. It's surprising how dense my comics tend to be with like just lots of lines and stuff. I don't always give it the room to breathe it needs. So that's something I'm learning. Here we got a little space, a little negative space going, so that's nice. But yeah. And I put another like is time for the world to meet doom and gloom to be continued. That was never continued. But that's like my take on like a Plastic Man type of character. And then we got Legends of the Lone Wolf. And there's no specific order that I'm doing here, but it's kind of cool that this is the last one because this is probably the most full-on production I've ever done, where I didn't do the writing. That's the only part, but I kind of did rewrite the story to a certain extent. This is Doug Garrett, written by Doug Garrett. This is his character, and he did like an anthology project with his character. And took me a long time to finish, but I did, pencils, inks, colors, and kind of some of the writing, character design as well, for my part. So here we go. Legends of the Lone Wolf, Sword of the Samurai, art, colors, and letters by Marshall Lee, written by Doug Garrett. So there we go. Lone Wolf, Sword of the Samurai. And I'm pretty proud of this one. This one isn't as condensed. And I went into like all this like Japanese and I think Chinese, Japanese folklore, and I found out about like some of their ghosts and stuff. So this kind of comes from that because we're following a samurai through the story, and then there's other like mystical villains and stuff. So yeah, this was me trying to do my superhero style comic book making. Very heavily influenced by the 90s. I had fun creating, like this character and this character. And I was going to continue with some of this character's story and stuff with Doug, but never exactly happened. But yeah, this was fun. And this is what I can do for coloring. I'm okay at it. Not amazing, but I enjoyed doing it. some of the art's a little bit simplistic, but yeah, I don't know. Really fun. And I made like this bear that's definitely inspired by like Bill Sienkiewicz, his demon bear from New Mutants. So yeah, that's that. So that's all the comics that I've ever made in my life so far. It's a lot of different stuff, anthologies, mini comics, some stuff that's, you know, it's all finished, but well, except for these little abstract comics. But yeah, it's a body of work, I guess, right? I hope to do many more. So yeah, just wanted to share that. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll be talking on the next one. All right, later.